imperfect people. Yes, I love imperfection. When I was in high school, I was famous for that. And anytime anybody did anything that was a little bit silly or absent-minded or whatnot, they would say, "Oh, I did a Tisha." And I thought it was great. I didn't know any better. So, imperfect. It's great. So, our theme for today and all year is grand rising, or grand proofing for some of us. Grand rising. The theme for July is practice makes imperfect. Today, our topic is perfectly imperfect, an expansive experience. So let's contemplate this wisdom from Tara Brach, a teacher of Buddhist meditation, emotional healing, and spiritual awakening. On this sacred path of radical acceptance, rather than striving for perfection, we discover how to love ourselves into wholeness. That's a good one. So let us affirm all together, imperfectly, I embrace imperfection and accept all of myself. And thank you. And here we will have Reverend Dr. Kathleen Baker. Oh, oops, no. That's imperfect.
Can you hear me now? Good. I've been contemplating this whole concept of perfect, imperfect, all month and getting more and more clarity around the whole thing. And what I keep going back to is something that I shared with you before is when I went through Aramaic Bible studies through Marco Errico's Institute. Is the thing that really, one of the things that really stood out for me is that the Aramaic word, which was, it was the language of Jesus, the Aramaic word that has been translated into the word perfect actually really means all-inclusive. Take that in. When we're talking about that word, it's all-inclusive. All-inclusive. So the perfect and the seemingly imperfect, and I'm saying seemingly, because those are judgments that we make when we see things as imperfect. And to me, it's our reactions and our judgments to things that don't fit the standards. What standards? I mean, there's standards that somehow I guess it's in our culture that we think there's a certain standard of what we're supposed to be. And so again, those are external things. And what I continue to come back to over and over again is the amazing inherent beauty in our uniqueness. That means all of us, all inclusive, the wholeness of who we are. So it's been my awareness and my desire to continue to do that with myself in my own life, is to see things that I used to see as imperfections as part of my wholeness and my uniqueness. And wow, there's so much relief and peace in that. Can you feel that? Take a moment with yourself, the things that you thought were imperfect about you that really are part of your beauty, part of your uniqueness. Think about it. Take it in. So much, and then look around the room. So much beauty in the uniqueness of how we show up. not only in how we look, but the way that our unique personalities. It's such a joy. It adds such richness to life. That's how I feel about it. Yeah, I mean, right? So I think as we continue to move through actually complete this week, this month, but move through this talk today, I invite you to continue to realize that this is about wholeness, ultimately, embracing all aspects of ourselves. And I love what Tara Brach said, loving ourselves into wholeness. You know, we're already whole, but it's about awakening, truly loving ourselves and awakening to that idea of our wholeness. Yes, yes, yes. And then ultimately fulfillment. I've been contemplating that too, that our fulfillment, rather than having our fulfillment be related to our achievements, how about if fulfillment comes along with that idea of wholeness? I'm whole. I am filled full of spirit. I am the fullness of spirit. Take a moment, breathe, close your eyes, and feel the fullness of who you are that goes beyond this body temple and spreads out and connects with everyone. Just take a moment, turn within. Enjoy that for a moment. The fullness and the wholeness of who I am, my uniqueness, and how it blesses and graces everyone here today. Wow. I'm going in a whole different direction than what I have on this paper. But it's feeling so good to me right now. Yeah. I do want to share, though, that there's back in 2003 that Kristen Neff, who was a professional of educational psychology at the University of Texas, published the very first empirical study on self-compassion, because self-compassion is the root to truly embracing all of ourselves, every aspect of ourselves. What were the findings? Well, it's going to be really obvious to us. Self-compassion allowed participants to see their seeming flaws clearly and then to use them as stepping stones for personal growth. On the other hand, self-criticism, and some of us may have been brought up to think the best way to motivate ourselves is to criticize ourselves. I don't know. Was anybody taught that if you're going to motivate yourself, you're going to get down on yourself and get yourself going? Well, self-criticism, self-judgment, such as I'm not good enough, made participants feel worse about themselves, and also kept them stuck in their unhelpful habit patterns. And it was what we were talking about before. Judgment is like glue. It keeps the patterns and so on in place. Acceptance, and it seems, I know for some people saying, but how am I going to move forward if I just accept myself as I am? Well, guess what? That is how it works. I begin with self-acceptance. I accept myself completely as I am, and I have intentions to move forward in consciousness, to grow, expand, and unfold this amazing divinity that I am. But it happens in the field of self-compassion and self-acceptance. Oh, how about self-esteem? Here's another one. Seeking self-esteem in the study showed that it was obviously not as effective as self-compassion because it tended toward a false puffing up. A false puffing up, that's what it said, which means a tendency to pretend like I'm full of self-esteem, but in truth there was that sense of I just need some validation. Can somebody give me some that I'm okay? So ultimately it goes back to self-compassion, self-acceptance. So let me illustrate with a story. Emily Tanner, who was a 34-year-old international affairs professional who was from Charlottesville, Virginia, found Tara Brach, the psychologist Tara Brach, that the quote that we just had, to help her get past a really powerful circumstance in her life, which is that her husband showed up one night and said, "I want a divorce." And she was devastated, and her reaction to it was a combination of self-blame and blaming him. It was that whole blame, that victim cycle of blame, and she couldn't seem to get herself out of it. So she found Tara Brach, and Tara taught her the spiritual practice of self-compassion, a radical self-acceptance is what she calls it. And the method uses the acronym RAIN, R-A-I-N, RAIN. And it goes like this: recognize difficult emotions, allow them to be there, that's the A, investigate them with curiosity, and nurture them with love. Wow. It's kind of what we've been talking about, so we don't do spiritual bypass, right? Recognizing difficult emotions, allowing them to be there, investigating them with curiosity, and nurturing them with love. Let me see what Dan got for that one. Okay. That's pretty good. Yeah. Okay. Yes, remember to take some photos, right? So during the meditations, Tara would have Emily bring the feelings forward that she was feeling: despair, shame, failure, rage. Bring them to mind. That's the recognizing. And then the allowing part is Emily stopped fighting the feelings and instead decided to feel them fully, validating them as being there for a purpose. And then Tara asked Emily to investigate or be curious about the feelings and where they lived in her body. So this is what Emily learned as a result. She found, for instance, that anger manifested as tension in her neck and shoulders, and sadness as a hollowness and a heaviness and a pressure in her chest. And it may be that way for you, it may be different for you, but the idea is to find out where that emotion lives in the body. And then comes the nurturing. Tanner was told to put her hands over her heart or give herself a hug and to repeat over and over again, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. You are okay. You are okay." So let's do it, okay? So I'd like you in this moment now to notice and, think about any difficult situation you've been going through. It might be the election, it might be that. It might be stuff around that. So bring to mind some area in your life where a lot of emotion comes up. And just embrace the emotion. Embrace the feeling. And where does it show up in your body? Notice where the tension, the tightness, or the heaviness is. I'm going to give you a moment. And describe it to yourself. Heavy. Might have a color or a shape. Is it a sharp pain or a dull pain? Just notice. So you're investigating, allowing and investigating. And then when you're ready, you can, if you'd like, put your hands over your heart or give yourself a hug. And then repeat in a whisper to yourself, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, it's okay, you're okay. Talking to yourself, you're okay, you're okay. Remember to breathe. Loving ourselves into wholeness. When you're ready, open your eyes. Oh, there's a beautiful peace in the room. Do you feel it? Yeah. So what I'd like to conclude with is just a few more things that Reverend Michelle Wadley, I think, did such a beautiful job of modeling for us the beauty of what people think of as imperfections, and yet makes her such a very unique person. And then I was reminded of how accepting ourselves fully, the wholeness of who we are, with what are seeming imperfections and all, helps us more easily let go of the need for validation from other people. It also helps us to let go of having to follow societal standards of perfection. And I was thinking about the issue with teen depression, and how looking online at these images of celebrities has impacted them. And when they look at the celebrity and they look at themselves, and it's like, oh, I don't look like, that comparison thing has been so detrimental. And so I am so grateful that there truly is a movement online. I don't know if you've seen it. I've been doing a lot of research. Truly is a movement to encourage teens to accept and love themselves in their wholeness, in their fullness as they are. And so I love that we are doing this as a whole Centers for Spiritual Living, all over the world community, because I know that we are helping to plant the seeds of fully embracing and accepting our wholeness, our fullness, and our allness as exactly perfect as it is, that all-inclusive idea of perfect as it is. And so, my friends, let's turn within. And so in this beautiful, perfect, and present moment, this all-inclusive moment, I invite each one of us to deepen into that awareness of the presence, the infinite, invisible source of all that is, pure spirit, God, the infinite almighty, whatever it is that we call this presence. It's here within each one of us as the unique, glorious, individualized expression that we are. And so let's take a moment and celebrate our uniqueness, embrace who we are fully and completely, and understand that we each bring certain gifts and talents to life, our own unique expression of love, our own unique expression of wisdom, and that we are amazing and wonderful just as we are. So I know that as we move through this week, as we move through the rest of our lives, and continue to practice this beautiful idea of RAIN, R-A-I-N, this spiritual practice of self-compassion, the spiritual practice of radical self-acceptance, which truly is affirming the spiritual truth of who we are, radiant, vibrant beings of light, already whole, already complete, and already perfect,